You're listening to the Snyder-Collin podcast, episode 32, brought to you by FPP Broadcasting. This week's episode is sponsored by Crispin Glover. What a strange man.
President. Oh, man. Yeah. As you can see when I'm on today, just like we on every other day, go get it. Get to the bag, music, Cool kid trap music type shit, I'm a rare individual, cut off your hand if it's killing you. You gotta stand on your tippy don't take. I got cool like a booty. She give me tank, then I sleep on her booty.
Yeah. Father of Donald Glover.
Ew. Gross. So, hey everyone, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you back and everything. It's just me and Jacob doing some old school podcasting.
Yeah, honestly, it's just you and me. It's kind of refreshing to have it be that for the week,
Yeah, no gimmicks, no Zeeks, no Davs.
Yeah, no, especially not no Zeeks, fuck that guy. I'm gonna raise the volume up a little bit. It's been a while since we've potted. I need to adjust things. There we go, look at that, we're perfect.
Yeah, it's been 7 days, so I kind of forgot how to do everything when it comes to podcasting. I mean, is there, you just kind of have to, talk. I guess you know all the technical sides of it.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about anything, really. We have our vitamin water.
And I have a smoothie, too.
Sweet. That's
from Tropical Smoothie. It's peaches and silk.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite one to get.
Yeah, it is.
No lie. It's the only one I ever get.
Same. Every single time I get peaches and silk. I forget, peaches, mango, strawberry?
I think that's what's in it. I don't know,
mango?
dude. It's delicious.
It is good.
Straight up. I wish now that we had gone to Tropical Smoothie together at one point, and we both were at the same time. Oh, I'll have peaches and silk.
What?
What?
No way.
My god, that's what I get.
So, Jacob, how was Disney World?
Dude, it was awesome. We had a great time.
Yeah, Jacob went to Disney over the weekend.
I did. We got to at Disney World. We rode the Hulk roller coaster. We rode the Spider-Man roller coaster as well.
Are these new to Disney?
No. No.
I thought it was Universal that had and Six Flags that had Marvel rides.
No, I don't think so.
Really?
We rode the dueling dragons and went to Harry Potter World. It was great.
Yeah, Harry Potter is one of my favorite. It's one of my personal favorite Disney franchises.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the Avatar world open? World of Pandora? Is that park open yet?
I don't think so.
All right,
no.
that'd be cool to go to.
Yeah, I would actually really like to go to that one.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing what that's all about.
That's going to be a new recurring bit for me on the show, pretending that I think Disney is something else.
Man, you're so clever.
God. I like last week's bit that we did with Seek, I did it, where I was pretending I was a man who thinks that only Marvel movies exist.
Yeah, we got a lot of positive feedback, but for me and Zeke, it just pissed us off. We actually beat up Jacob after the show for doing that bit.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. It took you longer than I thought it would for you to get that joke. And then it clicked and you were like, Jacob, are you just blind to cinema? That's what you said. And that pushed Zeke over the edge.
Blind to cinema? So
the orange is much better than this will be. I already know.
Oh, yeah. This shit. Oh, dragon fruit. We're talking about vitamin water.
Yeah.
The only vitamin waters that I pick up is the citrus and the orange. The orange is really sweet.
Yeah.
It's still pretty good. I like the citrus one.
I know you do, and they were out of it at Circle K, so I couldn't get any for you. I would have gotten orange and citrus. Those would be our two flavors.
Yeah, I think I've had dragon fruit once. What's in this?
Dragon fruits. It's like a Avatar Pandora thing. Yeah,
according to the bottle, it says, due to poor testing, this bottle of dragon fruit will not make your breath fire.
Oh, it's a joke. They were making a reference.
Wasn't 50 Cent, sponsored by Vitamin Water or something a long time ago?
Vitamin Water. What's going on 50 Cent? That's what the motto was for a while.
It's my birthday. So, I kind of have a groundbreaking story for the world.
Tell us, please.
So, the Snyder-Collin podcast, this is where it goes down.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
So, at work, one of the employees, we're not going to say her name. I told Jacob her name earlier, so he would know who I was talking about.
Yeah, so I would have context.
Yeah, this was yesterday. We were kind of just like hanging out, and for whatever reason, like we brought up the Charlie's Angel movie, like the live action one.
Yeah, who directed that?
That I believe that was Mick G.
Wow.
You can look that up. He either directed the first one or the second one or both of them. But
I don't want to look it up, so I won't.
I believe it's Mick G.
Good guy.
Yeah, not a hack. Not a hack.
Not at all. Fuck McG. What's his real name? Do we know? It's just Mick Jagger.
MCG. Mick G.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he goes by that. That can't be his real name. It can't be.
Absolutely not, no. Anyway, back to the story.
Anyways, so this girl that we work with, she's like, hey, do you know who Crispin Glover is? And I'm like, yeah, Crispin Glover. Like George McFly, Willard. I believe he's in the show American Gods.
I don't know that, but
he's
sure he might be.
He's a good actor. He's kind of like an intense weirdo though. He was in one of the Friday the 13th movies, Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Kind of a creepy looking guy. And I'm like, yeah, I know Crispin Glover. And like she got kind of like excited a little bit because everyone she had asked, they're just like, I don't know who that is. But me, I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, he follows me on Instagram.
What?
Yeah, Crispin Glover. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, and he like DM'd me.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Were you shown the messages?
No, but I was shown that he follows her, and it is a verified account. She didn't show me messages, which I didn't really want to see them.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like the verified account for Crispin Glover follows this girl that we work with.
How many people does he follow?
How many people does he follow? I don't know.
I'm going to take a look real quick.
Yeah, do it.
If it's only like 300 people and she's one of the 300 that he follows, that is some weird shit.
There's more that she told me.
Okay.
And, it's not too hard to believe because it's something that you can do in today's society,
Yeah.
With the internet and everything.
Yeah.
So apparently he's like messaging her and like Crispin Glover asked for like her like Skype account.
Really?
Yeah, and I guess she like gave it to him, and bottom line, like I think she like stopped responding, but at some point he like invited her to like go to like Brazil or some shit.
No.
Yeah,
there is no way.
You can ask her.
There is absolutely no way.
Why not?
That this happened. Like that's bizarre, man.
I know it is weird, but dude, what's stopping Crispin Glover from doing that? Following someone on Instagram and sending a message.
I mean, you're right. What is stopping him from doing that?
And I'm not calling her a liar either. This is just what she told me, and she showed me that this Crispin Glover Instagram account follows her, and I was just like, what the hell? I was like running around the restaurant telling everyone. Our GM went up to her and he was like, so I hear Crispin Glover Instagrammed you.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
This is so weird, man.
Well, do you have anything pulled up on Crispin's account?
Yeah, I do. He's only following like 385 people.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, like 300 people, and he has maybe like, 10,000 people following him?
About 10,000 followers.
Are you like going through everyone he follows trying to see if he can find anything that like correlates?
Well, this is so fucking weird.
Yeah, I know. Like
it's Crispin Glover is the name.
Can I see it real quick?
Yeah, is this the one?
Yeah, I believe that was it. Do I know her Instagram?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Because I'm looking in his followings, like who he's following, right? Like, and I don't see her.
And, like, I'm freaking out that this happened because Crispin Glover is in Back to the Future. He played George McFly, which is, like...
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite movies, and he's amazing in it, too, as George McFly.
Yeah, he's good. He's good in it, yes. He's
very good. He's hilarious in it.
Fucking weirdo.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Oh, God, this is uncanny. I don't know what to do.
Well,
I don't know how to look at this.
Well, you're searching Instagram. I'll talk about cinema. Crispin Glover actually changed like some regulations and stuff that can be done in Hollywood. Yeah.
Like what?
He successfully sued Back to the Future 2. Let's just say the producers
for using his likeness without consulting him.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting because Crispin Glover, he was offered his role in Back to the Future 2, and he unsuccessfully didn't get a pay raise. I think he was demanding too much money. He was like, I want more. I want more, Rob. Give me more. And they're just like, no, we're not paying you this much more money. It's a little unreasonable. And he decided not to be in it. Good for Crispin.
Yeah.
So in Back to the Future 2, they recasted George McFly. But not only did they recast him, they used like makeup prosthetic to make it appear as an older Crispin Glover.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's in the 2015 part. And it's an actor who it's pretty it's actually really smart. What they did was because not only did they put the actor in tons of like old man makeup, but he's hanging upside down.
Oh,
if you remember that, he's in like some weird future like back brace.
Yeah.
If you remember when Lorraine and George enter Marty's house in 2015, it's pretty funny. He's like floating upside down in some sort of like back brace. So you never get a clear look at his face. And the first time I watched it, I didn't even realize that that wasn't the same actor.
Yeah.
So it's pretty clever what they tried doing, but that cleverness ultimately backfired because I guess it's just, pissed him off. And kind of rightfully so. That is kind of a weird thing to do, and I think he saw an opportunity. He saw like an opportunity to strike.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything wrong filing that lawsuit.
No, I don't think so either.
So let's say there's a Snyder-Collin movie, and there's going to be a sequel because the first Snyder-Collin film was such a big success. And Snyder was like, I'm not returning because I suck. That's literally what he tells the producers, and they're like, okay, so they recast him, but you can't recast an actor and make it look like there's someone else.
No, you cannot do that. That's illegal.
You cannot do that in Hollywood. Unless it's Grand Moff Tarkin. Unless they're actually dead.
Yeah,
then it's okay.
Yeah, and then everyone in their family gets money for it, so they all consent to it. You know what I mean? They're all like, yeah, that's great.
Let's exploit our dead relative for money.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Crispin Glover, he's kind of a weirdo. He's an eccentric man, and apparently he's, Instagramming ladies. And she is not a minor. I'll say that. That is not what I'm trying to say.
No, she's not. I couldn't find anything, because I'm not friends with her on Facebook, so I couldn't look in his followers and see her Instagram account, but I don't know what her Instagram account is.
Yeah, it might not even have like her picture.
No, it might not. But if I did know the account name, I'd be able to search it and see if that's true. I'm not calling her a liar. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I need proof. Like that's just a wild thing to hear. To accuse Crispin Glover, excuse me. Crispin is a very uncanny name.
Crispin.
Yeah, Crispin. To accuse Mr. Glover of possibly being a weirdo.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. That's...
My girlfriend left me for Crispin Glover. How depressing. How depressing would that be?
Oh, man. The guy in the Back to the Future movies. Oh, God. His cock.
His cock?
His cock is just so uncanny.
His cock is so fucking huge.
Yeah.
His Crispin fresh cock.
Yes. Yes. His member.
I can't think of anything else that he's in. He was in Willard. You know, the remake of the guy who like has an army of rats. Everyone's favorite, Willard.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really good in that movie. It's an okay movie. It's kind of like a Tim Burton movie almost, about this like weirdo guy who like befriends rats, gets them to attack his enemies.
You know. Oh, God. Oh, I love you. Tim Burton. What's he about, you know?
You know, he had his time and place. I don't think he's gonna make another good movie.
I don't think he is either.
Ever again.
No.
He had his like Oscar comeback, kind of, with this movie called Big Eyes with Christoph Waltz, and I think Amy Adams, which she may have been in that. I know Christoph Waltz was, about like this famous painter, and that movie just kind of came and went. And I think that was supposed to be his like more like critical hit, but it just kind of came and went. And then his last movie, this Miss Peregrine's
Home for Extraordinary
Peculiar Children. Yeah, that didn't even look like a Tim Burton movie.
No,
it didn't. It just looked like, you know, bullshit.
Neither did Big Eyes, though. I've seen a couple. I've seen like some scenes from it. Doesn't really look like a Tim Burton film.
Yeah, but that movie is like, that movie doesn't necessarily grant the Tim Burton stereotypical style like the Peculiar Children one did. Like, that movie should have been all like dark and like gothic-y, and Big Eyes should have just been like a normal movie, which is what I guess it was.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular favorite Tim Burton movies? I enjoy a lot of his movies, honestly.
My favorite would probably be Batman 89.
People kind of forget that he directed that one. Like, you know, like kind of the first, well, I guess I'll say it's the second, like, epic superhero movie. The first being the 70s Superman.
Richard Donner's
you know?
Superman, yeah. God, man. Richard Donner's Superman.
I've never seen it. Never seen it.
And you have a podcast that oftentimes talks about superheroes.
I've seen some of it. Like, I don't know, if I was at like a pawn shop and found the Blu-ray for like $3, I'd be like, okay. It just seems kind of corny. Like, I can appreciate what it did for back then.
It changed cinema.
You could believe a man could fly.
Yes.
It's like, I get it. Like, you know, like, I get for what it did. It seems like a fun movie. There's no way in hell I'd ever watch the fourth one.
Oh, Quest for Peace?
Yeah, the one that has like even like the special effects degrade with like each movie somehow.
Yeah.
They're just like, hey, instead of making these Superman movies more like grand and epic, let's just make it for like a ham sandwich. All right, here's our production budget for Quest for Peace. They open up a briefcase because that's how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how budgets are. That's how budgets are dispensed in the movie industry.
Yeah, they open up a briefcase
full of money. They open it up and it's just like full of like meat, cold cut sandwich material, and they're like, perfect.
Yeah.
Have you seen Superman 2, the Donner cut?
No. Have you?
No, I hear it's I mean,
we're the worst.
I mean, I haven't even seen any of these Supermans, but it's a famous director's cut.
Yeah, it is.
It makes the movie quote unquote better than the original cut.
The Richard Donner cut.
Do people care about director's cuts anymore?
You know what? People act like they care about director's cuts when movies come out that aren't as good as they think they need to be, and then they request the director's cut of a director that probably doesn't even have a cut of the movie, and then angry fans riot and march on the Warner Brothers lot or whatever it is.
Are you talking about Justice League, the Snyder cut?
Yes, I am. You know why? Everybody's talking about, oh, give us the Zack Snyder cut, give us the Snyder cut, whatever. I think a lot of people are realizing that it doesn't exist. Here's the thing.
I mean, it's probably just the same movie.
Yeah, it probably doesn't exist straight up. It's different, I'm sure, but Joss Whedon took over and apparently made the movie watchable. The Zack Snyder whatever that existed, whatever cut that he had or whatever story that he had was not good, like at all.
Well,
and he shot,
he got fired.
Yes, he did get fired, yeah.
Which wasn't revealed for a long time.
Yeah, because they didn't want to disrespect the guy.
Yeah, they're just like, he lost his job, his daughter killed herself, his movies are shit.
That really begs the question, why rehire him after Batman versus Superman?
I think it was just, I mean, I'm no fucking expert or anything. I'm guessing it was all part of some, like, deal. And
maybe.
Like Zack Snyder was like, damaged goods, basically. You know, it's like, fuck, like, why did we do this? I think they just put a lot of faith in him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I understand that. So, I don't know. I remember when BVS came out and then Justice League was happening. They were like, any day at that point, I was waiting for him to get fired from Justice League. I think just waiting for it.
They were already, like, shooting Justice League, though, weren't they?
Yeah, but, like, even then, like, pre-production, just get him out of the way, because, like, this isn't the vision that you want for this DCEU. Bless you. And, like, you know, like, I don't know. I was waiting for that announcement, and it never came.
They're just gonna reboot the fuck out of this thing. Get rid of Ben Affleck. Get rid of Cyborg.
Apparently, Ben Affleck's having second thoughts.
Oh, just don't. Like, he's damaged goods, just like Snyder. Like, he had his potential, but I feel like he's like drained. Basically,
he is drained. He's tired of doing these films. I don't know, but at the same time, I feel like he probably feels like, hey, a lot of people said I was the best part of BVS, and like, you know, that's not really a great compliment, but like, at least it shows some potential, and maybe he's kind of thinking under a proper director, like someone who actually, Zack Snyder's a very competent filmmaker, but he's not great. He's not even good, really. He's good at visionary shit.
Yeah, he's good with eye candy.
Yeah, his films typically look good. If not a little too good, like dark, you know, like, I don't know. I think that BVS is a little too dark at some points.
What's a movie that looks too good? Valerian?
300.
300?
Yeah.
I thought of Valerian right away, a movie that, like, looks too good. I mean, I haven't seen the movie, just from the trailers. It's like so many like intricate, colorful, like crazy things.
I guess you're right. I guess you're right in that regard, but I don't know. I feel like Valerian. I have another movie that I want to talk about later that I saw recently. That's a recent release.
Me too.
That is is similar to that. Where it's similar to Valerian in that the story is just so convoluted and so all over the place that it's just like, really, like, what is this film? And that's kind of Valerian. Because about like an hour and a half into it, a line is said by Rihanna's character. It's not important that she's played by Rihanna. Rihanna does a fine job.
She hot.
She's very attractive. There is a strip scene in it, or like not a strip scene, like a lap dance,
like a burlesque
type scene.
dance.
Sort of, yes. But I believe there is actually a strip pole involved. That's why I had strip scene stuck in my mind. But she does look quite exquisite there. But this is later. Yeah, that was a pretty perverted way to say that. Yes, it's perverse.
Her flesh was quite exquisite looking in the film.
I think that yeah, she spoiler alert for Valerian, the city of 1,000 planets. She dies.
Oh, really?
Yes, she does. And then Dane DeHaan says,
"No,
it's not quite like that." He's like, "No, Bubble, you can't do that. No, oh God, no." And then they're like, "All right, well, we have to finish the mission." And then he goes, "Well, looks like I still have a a princess inside my mind or whatever. And at this point, I had no idea what was happening. I was like, I don't know what's going on now.
Is Dane DeHaan just like terrible?
No.
Should he just not be an actor?
Wasn't he fine in A Cure for Wellness?
He was, because the movie starts and you hate him, but then you realize his character is literal shit. Like, he is a shitty person. So,
oh yeah,
like, it kind of works. Starts with, he's like this shitty, like, business guy, and like, he's like slimy, and like, you don't like him. I think I don't know, he needs to play like villains.
He's great in Chronicle.
Doesn't he play a villain in that?
Yep.
Yeah, see?
He's great in The Amazing Spider-Man too. You know what? He's fine in it. He's not the best part of that movie. You know, Andrew Garfield is the best part of that movie.
You know, I'd argue that he's a better Green Goblin than Dafoe.
You would now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. I'd love to hear the defense.
No, I'm just fucking around. I'd never actually agree with that. Dude, like, everyone complains about how, like, stupid the Green Goblin looks in the first Spider-Man. Like, yeah, he does look like an action figure. But dude, Dane DeHaan, he looked fucking terrible.
He did. Is that his fault? That's not his fault.
It's like
in no way is that Dane DeHaan's fault, though.
No, it's just like, what? He just had like some like weird, like oily, like pimply skin and like bad teeth.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is that the Green Goblin?
You know what? All of Dane DeHaan's decisions in taking films, like taking roles, is completely justified. Like, you can absolutely see why he would do it. See, like, Chronicle happens. Chronicle is like his first film. It's gonna go, it's gonna go to the movies. It's gonna be a fun movie to see, stuff like that. You know, you've got
groundbreaking found footage film, subverted the genre thanks to Max Landis.
Yeah,
Genius.
I think that Josh Trank and Max Landis had a lot of creative control on it. It's kind of like the perfect project. They had so much creative control. Max Landis wasn't totally an idiot yet. It was kind of cool. And then, you know, Chronicle comes out. It's successful. He's a good part of it. They're looking to cast for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. They're looking around. He gets chosen for Harry Osborn. He takes the role, you know, or the role is offered to him. He auditions, whatever. Takes the role. That looks like such a good role. Like, you know, the first one was okay. It was a fine film. I don't hate the first one.
He wasn't in the first one.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't. But they have this second installment. They're looking to be more true to the comics. It's looking like it's going to be good. Maybe. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a very disappointing movie for me. But he's going to be Harry Osborn. That's awesome, you know? Comes out, it is terrible. Okay, now what do you do? Okay, probably another movie. I don't know what he did after that. Cure for Wellness? Looks like it might be an Oscar movie of some kind. Oscar bait-ish movie.
It could be the next Eraserhead.
Yeah.
It could be the next
totally.
cult. It could be the next cult like horror film. It's ambitious.
Yeah, super. I just think like it makes sense why he would take that role. Because it's going to be a good-looking movie at least. Could be this is what it was pitched as. It's the next Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
there you go. There you go. And then he takes Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets. He does that.
It's going to be the next Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm guaranteeing that's how Luc Besson pitched that. Or something like that. Like it's visionary. It's something, it's nuanced, it's cool, it's the next 2001, like we could do something special, it's a franchise, we could franchise it, and it didn't make any money.
Well, isn't the movie technically a French-made film? It's not a Hollywood movie production?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Look it up. I want to say that, because, you know, Luc Besson is French, because Valerian is based off of a somewhat popular French comic series that isn't popular here at all.
Yeah, no, it's not popular here at all. But it did influence like Star Wars and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, probably.
It was pretty early days stuff,
like 60s, like 60s sci-fi comics.
I saw a comment that said the roles for Valerian and Passengers, which starred Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, they should have just switched the actors for those. Maybe it was you that said that. I don't think it was you. But someone said, just have Chris Pratt play Valerian, Jennifer Lawrence play whatever her name was in Valerian, Laureline or something, and then have put Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne in Passengers and have that work. People would have liked that a little bit more. It would have made a lot more sense.
They would have made a little bit more money. I don't think Chris Pratt and Valerian could have saved the movie.
Maybe though, because maybe it would have made more money. Certainly, I believe it would have
with his star power.
Yeah, and also he's actually a good Valerian choice, whereas Dane DeHaan is not a good choice for Valerian. Does his best.
Isn't Valerian supposed to be the coolest guy?
Yeah. And Dane DeHaan's just kind of an ass in the movie. It was really not. I don't know. It was fine. Valerian. French movie. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I want to say it's a French production. Sorry about the a little mucusy. I'm full of mucus. I never saw Valerian.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
But you did see a film.
Besson independently crowdsourced and personally funded Valerian, with a production budget of around $180 million. It is both the most expensive non-American and independent film ever. So it's not technically French. It's French in that Luc Besson is French, and he funded it. So technically it is French funded.
And crowdsourced?
Crowdsourced. I don't know how to feel about that. It was released by STX Films, though. So that is an American company. Anyway, Valerian sucked, and we're not going to talk about it.
Ever.
Yeah, no, ever again. It's never getting brought up ever again. I did see a movie. I was excited for this movie, too. I was really excited. All right. Came out on Netflix on Friday night, I believe.
You could say that it was dumped.
Yeah, I would say that it was dumped on Netflix. Even though it was planned to go to Netflix.
Yeah.
That's fine, though. I did not know it existed. Well, I knew it existed, but I didn't know it was coming out this soon. I really did not know.
I didn't either. I heard about it on Collider Movie Talk, of all places. They brought it up, and I was just kind of oh, cool. And then, you were yeah, I watched it, and I was like, what? It's already out?
Yeah.
No, what? And what movie is this exactly?
This is Mute by Duncan Jones.
You mean the director of Warcraft?
Yes, the director of Warcraft.
Wow.
More importantly, though, the director of Moon.
And Source Code was kind of okay.
Oh, yeah, Source Code was great.
Yeah.
I forgot who did Source Code. Yeah, Source Code was... Yeah. Actually, I really enjoy Source Code.
It's been a while since I saw Source Code, but I don't really remember anything except for the first act.
Yeah.
And the premise. But I remember Source Code with our boy Gyllenhaal.
Jake.
Was pretty solid.
Yeah, it was good.
I still have never seen Moon, which is kind of a cult movie, sort of. People who watch it really love it. Cult sci-fi film.
Yeah. Mute. How do I even feel about this movie? Well,
this is his follow-up to Warcraft.
This is.
Wow, what a movie that's completely been forgotten about. Warcraft. It's kind of hilarious. It's just wow, that was a thing that was made. There was a live-action Warcraft film, Jacob.
Yeah, and it's real. It exists. It's wild. I don't know. This movie it's an interesting one, for sure.
Well, what the hell is it even about? Mute? In a world.
Let me pull up the Wikipedia page so I know character names, because I do not remember them in this movie.
In a world where everyone is mute.
Mute.
One man is born with a mouth.
Oh my god.
Is it Blade Runner-y?
It's not quite that. It is very Blade Runner-y. Alright, so basically the movie begins and we see that this kid is ran over by a boat or something. Yeah, that's what happens. He gets his vocal cords slashed. His name's Leo. And he's
Leo.
Yeah. He's Amish and his family's Amish, so they don't the look on your face.
In this sci-fi. epic film. The Amish are integrated in it.
Yes.
Witness 2049.
I guess, like, I mean, it would make sense that religion would stick around and still exist, but, you know, like, just because technology exists. He grows up in basically, like, a technology world. It doesn't show that happen, but anyway, move forward. The Amish stuff, actually, is probably the strongest point in the movie. It's sort of the most interesting aspect of it.
Like Witness with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
I love that film.
All right. So, Leo gets ran over by a boat. His parents will not allow for surgery to happen because the Amish don't really believe in technology or, like, really believe in using it. So he stays mute his whole life. Kind of interesting. Neat concept there. So we flash forward. We're in Germany in some year. I can't remember which year it is. 40 years in the future is what it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the year is 4022.
No.
And I was like, wow, we're going that far in the future.
Nope, no worries.
Are we going to see a sci-fi movie where it's like in the year 5423 and everything's just like nonsense?
I mean, we could.
Is that bad sci-fi?
No, it's good.
When you go that far into the future?
No, that's good.
It's good?
And it's just absolutely incoherent because it's in, like, a different language, but we don't provide subtitles for it.
It's all visual storytelling.
Yep.
All right, so we have a mute Amish boy 40 years in the future.
Yep. He has, like, a girlfriend or something, and he works at, like, this club with the girlfriend, and her name's Nadira. They're, like, close or whatever. Within, like, the first 20 minutes, him and Nadira are like, I love you, or whatever, I love you. And Nadira's like, I have to tell you about something. Something's going on. It's going down. And he's like, but I love you, and nothing else should be important because I love you.
He's saying this?
Not really. He's writing it down. Okay. He carries a notepad around. Yeah.
Is she just like,
I'm paraphrasing.
She's like, why won't you speak? Why won't you tell me that I love you?
Yeah. Can you let me fucking explain the movie, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, something happens or whatever, and she leaves in the night. They bone, and then she leaves in the night. Okay. She goes missing. He can't find her. All this shit. He has, like, a phone that she gave him the night before. He doesn't really believe in phones too much, but he took it because she was like, it would make things so much easier. Whatever. So, we also are introduced to Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
He plays a real piece of shit.
I was just wondering, like, who the hell's in this? Like, anyone?
Yeah. Also, he's in, Justin Theroux is in this.
Oh.
Or Theroux, as they call him.
Thorax.
Yes. Oh, God. The only really... Alexander Skarsgård also plays Leo.
Okay. Is he older or younger than Bill Skarsgård?
Older.
Okay. I was thinking this was like a kid.
No.
For some reason. I was still wrapped in that.
No. Oh, God. All right. So, basically the entire movie is just him trying to find and, like, following clues to try to find, this girl, Nadira is her name. And it also flashes back, or cuts back to Paul Rudd and, his daughter. It's kind of similar to Ant-Man. I didn't think about it. Paul Rudd and his daughter trying to, like, get out of Berlin, and they're, like, underground surgeons or whatever. Him and Justin Theroux, and they're doctors for, like, the mob and shit. And it's confusing, and Leo, the mute guy, also has ties with the mob, and then, like, he worked at the strip club with Nadira, who is also owned by the mob. It is weird, man. This movie's fucking bizarre. It's all over the place. It's absolutely incoherent in parts. It's really not a good movie.
Yeah, you were not a fan.
No. It is, Cloverfield Paradox was more coherent than this movie was.
That's quite a compliment.
Yes.
To Paradox.
Yes, it is. This movie is all over the place, and the only people having really, like, any fun in their roles, it seems, are Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux, and this is going to be a spoiler-filled discussion. I'm spoiling this whole goddamn movie because it makes no sense. Oh god, it's so fucking stupid.
And you told me earlier that this movie's set in the same universe as Moon.
Yes. Oh yes. Okay. So there's a random part in it. Well, Moon has this company called Lunar that's kind of like your
Slusho.
Your kind of
your Wayland Enterprise.
Yeah, like your Weyland-Yutani thing. I'm more thinking of like Toy Story. What is the
Dino?
Dynaco. Dynaco is what it is, right?
Yeah, the gas station.
Yeah,
place.
there's like gas stations and cars that are ran by Lunar in here. And they also have, in the movie Moon, they have like moon missions and shit like that that are done by clones. And in this one, this is the weirdest thing. It's so... I can't imagine what it would have been like for you to watch this movie. For you to see this scene.
I don't think I'm going to watch this, so tell me all the batshit weird things that could possibly happen in
Just
Mute.
don't watch it. So there's a scene on the TV. The news is on, and there's a courtroom filled with Sam Rockwells.
No.
Yes. Yes. There's a bunch of Sam Rockwells, and one of them's like, I'm whatever. I can't remember his name from Moon. But he's like, I'm whatever. And then he's like, hey, I'm that same guy. That's my name too, bud, or whatever. Like, it's all these clones rising up against Lunar for cloning them without their will, or like against their will, and like forcing them into like slave labor because they're clones. That is a more interesting movie than anything this movie provided.
Did you like that you saw this connection to
I liked
Moon?
it. Yeah, I knew it was already in the same universe as Moon. Duncan Jones already said it.
But were you expecting to literally see that, like the Sam Rockwell things, or did you think it was just going to be references? Like, oh,
I figured there would be a Sam Rockwell appearance in this movie because him and Duncan Jones get along well.
Do you think that's going to piss some fans off?
Any true fan, I'm sure, is going to just, not really true, but any fanboy-ish people that would be pissed off by that, they probably will love this movie, so who cares?
Alright.
It's similar to Moon in that Moon really doesn't have a nice ending to it, really. Like, it's sad, sort of. Not, I mean, like, it's hopeful still, like, ambiguous, but this movie has a terrible ending. It's terrible. Like, it is the most fucking dour ending you could possibly hope for. In a movie with, like, the only levity in it is Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux's relationship. And then almost all of the levity, is undercut by, like, a borderline pedophilia thing with Justin Theroux's character. And, like, he's clearly into underage girls. And then their relationship, Paul Rudd's like, you can't fucking do that. Like, that's not okay. That's not cool. He's the moral compass.
Should this movie just been about those guys? And is the Mute guy kind of like an afterthought?
Kinda. The entire time, these two stories are told separately, and it's really not like, it just comes across as scatterbrained instead of like smart. They do not link up soon enough for me to give a shit, really. They cross paths like a couple times in the movie. Paul Rudd and Alexander Skarsgård. I'm gonna look up their names actually. Okay, yeah, that's right. Cactus. Paul Rudd's name is Cactus.
Riveting.
Yes, Cactus Bill is what they call him. This is so fucking dumb.
Cactus Bill.
Yes. Anyway, so Cactus Bill and Justin Theroux, or Duck, is that what they call him? Oh yeah, Duck. That's his name.
Brilliant.
Duck. Yeah. This movie's fucking awful.
Brilliant sci-fi.
Right. So the entire time it's about like Paul Rudd and his daughter trying to leave Germany, trying to get home, get to the States, get his like papers fraudulently made so they can leave. It's
wait,
clear.
Who, the Mute guy?
No, Paul Rudd.
Oh.
See, this is what it's like watching this movie. It's fucking, it's so all over the place. So, in the end, basically, it turns out that Paul Rudd, despite having seemed like a normal-ish person kind of the whole movie until like the last 15 minutes of it, 15 to 30, where he almost murders a guy, like, out of nowhere, kinda. He almost kills a guy. And you're like, whoa, that seems way out of character for you? Like,
this sounds like the opposite of Cassian from Rogue One.
Oh yeah, you're kind of right.
Remember it's like the opposite of that, because remember at the very beginning of Rogue One,
Mhm.
he's like, he has like a something's happening. He's like, "Fucking kill you." You
That's
know,
not what he does. Yeah.
but no, you know the scene in the first scene
Yes.
with Cassian. He like robs a guy.
Some guy with like a broken leg. No, it's some guy with a broken leg, and they're trying to escape, and the guy can't get over this thing, and he knows that. Yeah, he shoots him.
Yeah.
Cold blood.
Yeah.
Knowing that if a stormtrooper were to get him, he would talk about the rebellion.
Yeah, that's what it was. And he doesn't
That's
rob someone.
sort of not the worst
kills
scene
them.
in that movie, though.
Rogue
I don't
One?
hate that. I don't hate that he did that. No.
In Rogue One.
Yeah.
It's just like a comparison, because it's like the opposite of what you're talking about with Cactus.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, him and Justin Theroux go get fucking hammered because they get their papers made or whatever. Yeah. Pretty much they go out and celebrate. They can go to the mall. So they go to the mall, get absolutely fucking hammered. He almost kills a security guard. Yeah, this movie's fucking.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm getting there. You keep on fucking cutting me off. I'm trying to get somewhere. God damn it. I'm gonna fucking murder you with a knife. Like,
are you gonna
Paul Rudd?
You're gonna Paul Rudd me?
Yeah, I'll Paul Rudd you. So the resolution, if you will, of the movie is that it turns out Paul Rudd murdered the girl because they were exes, and his daughter is her daughter. That's what she needed to tell the mute man about. So he murders her and keeps her in his house, her body in his house. And the mute man figures this all out. I can't remember how. He figures this out. They fight for a bit. The mute man murders him. Justin Theroux finds Paul Rudd, still alive a little bit, lets him die, and is like, "Oh, I don't think I can take you to the hospital," because at this point, he's like, Paul Rudd's a fucking crazy person. So Justin Theroux has switched from pedophile to moral compass now. He's now the moral compass of the situation. Paul Rudd has gone from moral compass to insane man in like 5 seconds. Not really. It was telecast a little bit more, but all in all, the roles have switched in ways that they really shouldn't have. Paul Rudd was like, "Never talk to my daughter ever again, Justin Theroux. You're a pedophile." And it ends on Paul Rudd dying and looking at the security camera and seeing that Justin Theroux is going to his daughter now. That's how Paul Rudd's life ends. That's not the movie. But Paul Rudd dies on that moment. So Justin Theroux goes back from moral compass to absolutely insane person and finds Mute Man and adds, he's like, "Say you're sorry," or whatever. Obviously he can't, he's fucking mute. So he against his will, does surgery on him and adds like a vocal thing into him. Yeah. He adds like a vocal translator in so he can talk. He takes him all the way to this place where Nadira and Paul Rudd met or whatever, or were in love, and he's like, "See, they were in love here, you fucking asshole. Fuck you." And then he tries to like throw him over the edge or whatever, and Alexander Skarsgård wraps Justin Theroux up, and then they fall over the edge together. And
how poetic.
Yeah, and he drowns Justin Theroux. And since they brought the daughter with them, he swims back up or something and uses his voice box that sounds terrible. And it's like I can't remember the fucking girl's name.
They're gonna say his like scars on his neck underwater like open up.
Yeah.
And he starts breathing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, "Josie, I'm helping you." Like, that's kind of what it sounds like. I don't know. It's terrible. And then the movie ends. Like, it's like, "All right, like, let's come with me. I'm taking you to your grandmother." And then it ends. It's so incoherent. My review of it can't be like coherent because it's all over the place.
You have not sold me on Mute.
It's just not good, man. Like,
it doesn't even sound like it had a good story to even like.
It was terrible. It was terrible, and that's kind of the thing that's interesting. This is like a story that Duncan Jones has wanted to tell for like 15 years.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's like a passion project for him.
It just doesn't sound like an interesting sci-fi story. It's like, why Like, couldn't you just make this movie like in like present day?
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't sound like it's utilizing anything that's futuristic. Like, oh, like what, a voice modulator? That's not very like impressive. Like, did this movie even have like a cool looking world, or was it just kind of
It looked exactly like the Blade Runner world.
That's what I was thinking. Is it just more of the same, like dark, industrial, like noirish sci-fi?
It looked exactly like Blade Runner.
Did you have like big billboards with like girls' faces on them, like holograms?
Not really that, just like rainy, steamy, blue neon, like cityscapes, grimy,
so kind of just like
prostitution.
So it sounds like this whole movie is just dead on arrival. No one wanted to see it.
It was.
No one wanted to make it.
And like there was no tweet when it was out from Netflix's Twitter account. It's not even on the front page of Netflix on the night that it comes out.
No, is it even on like your options bar? Like, is it accessible?
It's really not. I had to search for it. I had to search mute, and there it was.
Just another home run from Netflix.
Yep.
And this is an original?
Yes, this is.
This was made by Netflix?
I believe it was. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think that it looked good. That's about it.
Had some nice cinematography.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like the whole thing, like...
Was it Roger Deakins-esque?
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed like Paul Rudd's character was really the only sense of levity in the entire movie. Oh, and him and Justin Theroux are also gay for each other, randomly.
Really?
Yeah. Fine. I mean,
I guess.
But then it's like also Paul Rudd is heterosexual in ways. They're both bisexual, and it was kind of odd and not really touched on. Like, they do it really uncomfortably, where it's like, yeah, we touched penises. Literally a line. Literally. Yes. Justin Theroux says that. He goes, we touch penises. It's bizarre, man. Like, this movie is so bad.
I'd rather watch that. Just a movie of Justin Theroux and Paul Rudd talking about like making like homosexual references to each other.
Yeah, I would too. They call each other babe throughout the entire movie, and yet they're in no way romantic, like ever.
It's like a comedy, and it's just called "Are They?" ?
Oh my god. That would be better than Mute.
So
anyway, 5 out of 10.
All right,
Mute gets a 5 out of 10 for me.
I was about to say, just you got to rate this thing.
Yep, it's really bad.
So just a bad movie.
Yep,
is it long?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes, it is.
Like, is it a literally like long movie, or does it just feel long?
It felt long. I don't know how long it is. Let's look at the runtime. See if
I'm gonna guess it's just a solid.
It's 126 minutes. Yeah.
All right,
it's about 2 hours.
A 2-hour movie, and it just like drags and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, just not worth watching. If I'm totally honest with you. It's bad. Bad movie. Paul Rudd is the only levity in the entire movie, and then most of the time you're just like, wow, what a piece of shit. Like, what an ass clown. Let me correct. He's not the moral compass. But he's an asshole that you can sort of relate to. You can see a motive with him. Like, so Alexander Skarsgård's character, he's all over the place. He's searching desperately for this girl. The whole thing is revolving around him trying to find this girl. And that you know for 5 minutes and are not emotionally invested in their relationship whatsoever. You do not care. A lot of people turned it off, apparently. After like the first 10 minutes. Yeah, a lot of people just stopped watching.
They're like, I guess I'll just rewatch The Office.
Oh my god. It's just so Skarsgård's an interesting-ish character, but he's not relatable, truly.
Wait,
Paul Rudd is somewhat relatable because he's an asshole and he's just brash and like a dickhead, but like also he has a daughter who's trying to get out of the country and stuff like that. But then making him the murderer of the entire thing is supposed to be this giant twist, but instead you're just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, it makes no sense. That was not ever hinted at, and it makes absolutely zero sense to me. And then Justin Theroux's a pedophile. Why would you ever relate to him? No one's relatable in this movie. No one is likable, truly.
You can't relate to a futuristic mute Amish man?
I can't. Unfortunately, no. But you relate to him in some parts.
You can relate to love.
Yes. Someone should make a jump cut of how many times or a super cut of how many times we said relate.
So yeah, I'm not gonna watch Mute.
Don't do it. Actually, you should. I think it'd be funny because I want to know your opinion on it.
Maybe I'll put it on while I'm like listening to music and just.
I've heard that's the best way to experience
really?
the movie. Yeah, just watch it silent.
So, unlike you, I saw a decent sci-fi film starring Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
It is directed by Alex Garland. His follow-up to Ex Machina, which I enjoyed quite a bit. The sci-fi film Annihilation, as they're calling it. Yo, my name is Collin. I go to see these movies. All right. So
that was pretty good. All right.
Did you want to see Annihilation?
Yeah, I did. Thanks for inviting me.
You literally weren't even in the same country as me when I saw it.
Literally, that's not true. We were in the same state, actually, and country.
So yeah, Annihilation, this mysterious, mind-bending, disturbing movie.
Is it really both of those things?
God, all right, let's see. Where do I start with Annihilation? I don't know why. I think I'm a comedic genius for calling the movie Annihilation.
Yeah.
All right, so Annihilation stars Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. It's about this woman who, she's not really recruited. She's a biologist, and she's also former U.S. Army, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she's former Army, because it makes sense to like why she's like has like a gun in this movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, here's your gun. You're not trained at all to use it, but here you go. Basically, these 5 women, I believe it's 5. They're going...
Oh, Tessa Thompson's in this movie as well.
Yes, Tessa Thompson.
Jesus Christ. Is she as beautiful as ever?
She looks a little different because her hair is curly, and in Thor Ragnarok, it's like straight.
Yeah. She's still hot, though.
Oh, yeah. I'd buy her septic tank. Swim around in it.
Jesus.
Anyway,
Jesus fucking Christ.
So anyways, they there's like this seemingly like alien ecosystem that is expanding and can potentially take over the whole world. They keep sitting in expeditions. No one comes out.
Okay.
Can I talk a little in depth about this movie?
You can spoil it. I don't really care.
Really, you can't spoil this movie except for like unless you literally talk about the last 15 minutes.
Oh.
Because other than that, this movie is what you'd expect. They go into this alien ecosystem, and there's some creatures in it.
Oh.
All right. So overall, I liked this movie. It is not a sci-fi masterpiece. So don't go with that expectation. So the movie starts and it sets you up. You don't care about any of the characters. You just don't. You don't give a fuck about Natalie Portman and Oscar Isaac's relationship at all. As much as the movie thinks that, like it attempts it, but you just don't care. You don't care about any of the characters. It's more about like the mystery.
Yeah.
And the shimmer. That's what it's called. You want to know what's in the shimmer, damn it. So, a lot of people say that the movie takes too long to get to the shimmer. I don't think it takes too long. It takes like 30 minutes. You have to have build up. But this movie thinks it's very smart because, Jacob, get this. This movie is non-linear.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Isn't that creative and smart, like, storytelling? And
so is.
It's so experimental and avant-garde. This movie didn't need to be told that way. Like, the literal first scene in the movie is, like, Natalie Portman being interrogated, and they're just like, you're the only person to ever come out alive. So it takes place after she went into the shimmer. So it's like, okay, no suspense if she's going to live or die or not. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's completely unnecessary. The movie should just start.
It automatically kills everyone that she was with.
Yes. And, you know, like, it like jumps back to when, like, Oscar Isaac and her were, like, in a relationship, and you just don't care. It's like, just get to the fucking movie. And then when they do get into the shimmer, the movie, it kind of drags. It is kind of a boring fucking movie. But the shimmer's cool. It's like this like thriving terrain. If the movie had a less ending, I wouldn't have liked it. But the ending to this movie is pretty fucking cool. And it gives you like enough to like think about and be like, oh, okay, this is what this movie was kind of about. This movie's basically about how we like destroy ourselves and there's nothing we can do, you know?
Yeah.
Because it literally is like this alien ecosystem that came from space, which I loved. And like one of the first shots is like this like meteor thing. It's not really a meteor, but you know, like fiery ball, and it strikes this lighthouse, and that's when the shimmer, the oily like oil spill thing starts to spread. And the objective is we need to get to that lighthouse and find the source of the shimmer. And that's the objective, and I like that. That was simple enough. You know, that wasn't too overly convoluted.
Yeah.
And I don't think this movie is, like, that complex. There's some, like, sci-fi jargon. Like, I think even in the trailers, you see these plants that are growing in the shape of people.
Mm-hmm.
And Tessa Thompson's like, she's like, it's refracting our DNA. And I'm just like, like, okay. Like, what does that mean?
That's bizarre.
It's a little Prometheus-y. I didn't think that was too good when they're just like it's breaking down everything and creating something new. I was like, that's basically what it's doing.
Yeah.
Overall, it was okay. I don't want to give away the ending, but the ending has really great visual storytelling, which I loved. The climax of this movie, like, not a word is spoken, and it's awesome. The ending, it didn't elevate what you had already seen, but it didn't waste your time.
Got it.
Some people are going to hate it, but, like, overall, like, I'm glad I sat down and saw it in theaters and, like, watched it straight through.
Yeah.
Probably, I wouldn't watch it again. This isn't a movie that I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go buy on Blu-ray when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. You should just tell me what the ending is. I want to know.
You want to know?
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah, you really don't mind spoilers unless it's maybe like Star Wars,
see,
like something you're gonna go see anyways.
Yeah, here's my take on spoilers. I think that spoilers, I'm the type of person where they kind of like enhance my viewing of it.
Really?
That way I like to see how it gets there.
Okay.
I'm a fan of that. Like, I don't know. I'm not, unless it's like a spoiled, unless it's like Han Solo's death, where I would like to, even though I knew about that as soon as the movie was announced.
That was
speculation.
As soon as,
Harrison Ford, no, it wasn't just speculation. You know they're going to kill him. You know for a fact who Kylo Ren is. I knew he was Harrison Ford's son.
I wasn't blindsided by that. I didn't know.
Han Solo's son. He's not Harrison Ford, the actor's son in the movie.
All right, before we derail to Star Wars talk.
So
spoilers from Annihilation here on out. I give this movie a 7 out of 10. Just okay.
Spoilers, yes.
It was okay.
Yes.
All right, so one by one, they keep dying in kind of different ways. Like, there's a few creatures in this movie. There is a great scene where one of the chicks, she kind of goes a little nutso.
Yeah.
And she ties them all up, and she's like, "Oh, you're lying," blah blah blah. Kind of like starts to lose it. And this bear creature that comes in. Well, no, first, all right. So you hear the screams of one of their fallen comrades, and she's like, "Oh my god, it's her!" But really, it's this like bear that's like face is like falling off. And it's calling out the woman's screams because that bear is the same creature that killed her.
Yeah.
That was kind of creepy.
Oh.
Hearing like this like weird like humanish like scream coming out of this like bear.
Oh, that is eerie.
Yeah, so that scene was pretty cool. So eventually it's just Natalie Portman, she makes it to the lighthouse. And Oscar Isaac, who's her husband, he had been gone for a year because he was in the shimmer.
Yeah.
And then he inexplicably, at the beginning of the movie, reappears at her house. But he starts, like, what's it called? Like, hemorrhaging?
Yeah.
And he has to go to the hospital, and that's when the government intercepts them, and that's when, like, Natalie Portman is brought to the shimmer.
Oh.
because like
Huh.
it's kind of hard to like oh,
No, I get it.
So that's how she's introduced. So she's not really recruited. She's kind of like brought there like inadvertently.
Yes.
So she gets to the lighthouse, and there's like a corpse there that looks like charred and burned, and in front of it is a tripod. It's a really kind of like strange image, and she watches it, and you find out that it's Oscar Isaac, and he used like what's it called? It's a type of grenade. Ass something, like it just like sets you on fire basically.
Oh,
It doesn't make you explode.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses it because when you go in the shimmer, you just kind of go nuts.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of the thing.
Word.
And you see him kill himself, but you also see a doppelganger walk on screen. It's also Oscar Isaac.
That's weird.
And that's the one that went home to Natalie Portman. So yeah, now we get into Twin Peaks territory with doppelgangers and everything.
Great.
So in this lighthouse, there is a hole, like presumably where it struck. She crawls in the hole. Jennifer Jason Leigh is down there, like the head bitch of the expedition.
Yeah.
She basically, oh god, she like reveals like what it's all about, and she's like, it's annihilation, and her body kind of like disintegrates into this like really trippy orb, and it opens up, and some of Natalie Portman's blood gets sucked into it, and a replica of her is made.
Huh.
But it's like a black thing that's just, and this is where I'm talking about where it's all visual storytelling.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk about at this point because it just goes like full on like art house. Like she's trying to escape, but if she takes a step, it's like mimicking her moves. So basically, like this thing from space, I think it was just trying to like create, but in doing that, it just like destroys things.
Okay.
It's a cool ending.
Yeah.
It's a cool ending, and it basically backs up the themes of like how we destroy ourselves and stuff. That's all I'm gonna say, because the ending's fucking hard to explain, because it is just like visual storytelling.
Yeah.
The ending was really cool in my opinion.
It's super
though.
metaphorical.
Yes, and it's done in such a good way to not where it seems too like, oh, you just don't get it. It's kind of like, no, it's like this thing that's mimicking her move. It tries to like consume her at one point, and the ending worked for me. I thought the movie had an interesting enough premise to get me invested. Most of the movie drags, unfortunately. Lots of like weird stuff kind of happens in it, and it's not as good as Ex Machina. Not as good as Ex Machina.
Don't be that guy.
It's not.
I know.
It is not as good as Ex Machina.
You can't just compare works like that.
Sure you can. It's from,
No,
it's from the same director.
No.
It's his lead up. It's another
Fuck
sci-fi
you.
movie.
No.
Has Oscar Isaac in it. The only thing I remember from Ex Machina is Domhnall Gleeson going, "Did you hack my Pornhub account?" Do you remember that scene?
I remember that moment, yeah, because he's like, you looked at my porn profile?
Yeah, because like I guess her face was made to like
mimic porn stars that he liked.
He's
It's
like,
kinda
have I
fucked.
jacked off to this android before? But yeah, Annihilation or Annihilation, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
It was okay. I'm glad I saw it. Would never watch it again.
Really?
All right. Like I guess I maybe would. I'm not like looking. I wouldn't go see it in theaters again.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's it for the Snyder-Collin podcast. Just kidding. We didn't do a show today because the one from last week isn't even out yet because I
Yeah.
had to go out of town. So we'll just do
That's
that
all right.
next week.
That's all right.
Fuck it.
There's still a few things that I'd like to talk about.
No, I wasn't going to end the show right now. I was kidding.
So Jacob,
Yeah.
our favorite movie got hit with a copyright infringement lawsuit.
What movie's that?
The Shape of Water.
Really?
Yeah, it's getting sued for plagiarism.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Why?
So, do you know who Paul Zindel is? Author of the Pigman trilogy?
Other than being the author of the Pigmen trilogy, no.
He's like a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright. And I believe
Jesus, that's alliteration if I've ever heard it.
Pulitzer. Thanks that I sound smart. Smart.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he has a play called "Let Me Hear You Whisper," and it's basically like some like forgotten play. They made like a TV movie of it in like 2005, and it has a lot of similarities to The Shape of Water.
Huh.
It's called "Let Me Hear You Whisper." And I believe it's about a lonely janitor worker who works at like a government. I want to say it's an animal research facility where they do tests on animals. I don't think there's any creatures in Let Me Hear You Whisper, but I think she wants to like rescue a dolphin when they find out it's going to get killed. And yeah, the family estate of Paul Zindel is like, fuck you, Guillermo. Fuck you. So yeah, they slapped that with a big old copyright. Plagiarism, Jacob, plagiarism. A week before the Oscars.
Of course.
And voting. What a bunch of fucking dicks. Like, couldn't you do this earlier? Let's wait until the ending week of the Oscar votes. Then let's sue.
Well, I mean, is it truly... Are they really suing now, or is it just going public now?
I don't know. I think both.
I mean, the lawsuit...
I'm pretty sure both. Like, I'm sure it wasn't happening when, like, you know, first got released and, you know, Guillermo was just like, oh, great, publicity.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't believe this movie's plagiarized at all.
I think this movie's okay.
That's not the point. But, like, there's things where it's like, oh, in this play, there's also severed fingers, and a cat dies, too. And it's also set in the 60s, because it was written in the 60s. And basically, Guillermo del Toro, this is why I believe him, because he's like, I've never even heard of this. It was never brought up on set. And he said he's very adamant about talking about things that influence him, like on Twitter, in his movies, you know, because like clearly this movie is just like his version of like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
He even admitted that like the plot for The Shape of Water isn't groundbreaking story elements, because really it's like it's Free Willy, and it's in a way it's what, like E.T. E.T. kind of does the same thing.
Yeah.
You gotta save this creature from the government. And like, you know, could you even find anything about Let Me Hear You Whisper? It doesn't have a Wikipedia article. It just has like some like TV movie made. So I think it's all coincidental, but I think one of the producers or someone knew about this play.
Oh.
I think someone knew, but he said it was never brought up on set, and like Guillermo wouldn't do that. Guillermo wouldn't do that. It just sucks when like one of your like idols is like and like is like big movies about to win all these awards, and then it's like this happens. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I think it's just coincidence.
I think it probably is too. I don't know, it's hard to prove that anyway. It's
I mean, yeah, I guess it is hard to prove whether or not it is.
I'm looking at this ridiculous fucking screenshot of this woman who's fucking looking at a tank.
And it's a dolphin, right? Yeah, see, so it's like, if it was about like a fantastical creature, that would be pretty like uncanny. But it's like, oh, I want to save this dolphin that they're doing tests on because they're gonna kill it. Like, does that really sound like Shape of Water to you? Does she fall in love with the dolphin?
If she does, it's almost definitely plagiarizing.
I don't believe it.
If she falls in love with that dolphin and bones the dolphin,
that doesn't happen.
No, it wouldn't happen. But if she fell in love with the dolphin or something, Collin.
I mean, she wants to.
Do not ignore the obvious because of your Guillermo del Toro tinted glasses.
I just don't believe that. What, some play that no one's heard of?
I don't believe it either, but like, also I don't know Guillermo del Toro as like a guy, and also I don't know his co-writer because he co-wrote it.
I don't believe it.
I mean, I don't particularly believe it either, but I just think it's, I mean, you can't just, you have to look at the facts of the issue rather than just immediately going, no, it's Guillermo del Toro, he would never do that. Because someone who would never do that would eventually do that. Because you know that people will defend him to no end.
Well, then is Pacific Rim just plagiarizing, what's it called? Evangelion?
Yeah, in a way.
Well, then how come
Except it's infinitely less smart.
How come that didn't get sued? It has tons of similarities.
I don't know. Why is it not getting sued by the creator of The Creature of the Black Lagoon? His estate.
Because that's not like...
Is that public domain?
Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Also,
No.
Evangelion rips off infinitely other mechs. That's a staple of Japanese. You can't... There could be 150 lawsuits. It could be a class action lawsuit, I suppose, toward Guillermo del Toro for ripping off Japan. But then it becomes a nationality issue, and then it becomes, is Guillermo del Toro a racist? It's too big an issue because Evangelion is not the first. It's not the first anime about mech armors like giant robots against kaiju. That's kaiju. Literally, is the word in Japanese for monster. Monster.
I'm just trying to think of like, Let Me Hear You Whisper, and like, I don't know. I'm not buying it. That like, I see that there's similarities, but I don't think that like Guillermo had some master scheme where he's like, ooh.
I don't think so either.
I think it's just a coincidence. The same thing happened to M. Night Shyamalan with The Village. This woman was like, I have a book that no one remembers. And that's exactly what's happening now. Our somewhat famous father wrote a play that no one remembers.
I mean, he is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright.
Paul Zindel. Yeah. It was made into a TV movie that no one watched. About a woman and a dolphin. I'm sure some people watched it. I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, he makes it very obvious that his movies are paying like homage to other things, you know?
Yeah, and I think that is the best defense for it. Like,
yeah.
if I were paying homage to something, I usually mention it, you know?
Yeah.
So he would have mentioned, because he's mentioned about like Creature from the Black Lagoon and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He's very adamant about what he loves. Like, if he knew about Let Me Hear You Whisper, he would be like, "Oh, I was moved to tears when that woman fucked that dolphin." You know? So that's my big thing.
Yeah.
If they have, I think it's just a coincidence.
I think it is too.
Still like the movie.
Oh, I know you still like the movie. You still like the movie a little too much, given that it's not that good.
Is it better than Mute?
Yes. In that I knew what was happening in the movie for the most part. I'm on a Forbes article.
For what?
Mute. It says Netflix's Mute isn't just bad, it's almost unwatchable. And I'm here to tell you, Forbes, it is unwatchable. There's no almost about it.
So Netflix, they have Bright, one of the worst films I've ever seen. Cloverfield Paradox, one of the most pointless movies I've ever seen. And then we have Mute, which is just somehow worse than both of those. Is Netflix just terrible? They're just not good at making films.
Let's look at Mute on Rotten Tomatoes real quick, because it's a good time.
Dude,
This movie has like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm not shocked. Dude, I'm starting to think, give it 10 years from now, Netflix will only have original content on it.
We've said that before on the podcast.
We have?
Yeah, it's going to be like a channel.
No, but like not even like movies, just Netflix stuff only.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be like its own like personal channel. They only play things they produce. And then it's like the Disney Channel. It's Netflix. And
if you want to watch, if you want to watch movies, you're gonna have to buy the DVD. And physical media is gonna have an uprising.
You're right.
People are just like, I want to watch cheaper by the dozen. It's not on any of these streaming services. Let me go to a Goodwill and buy the DVD for 25 cents.
Mute has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Jesus.
Yeah. Man, let's look at some of these. Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux do their best to have fun, but the movie's miserable tone is actively competing against them at every turn. Mute is more interesting than a bullet point list of absurdities than a 2-hour film. Sorry, Mute is more interesting as a bullet point list of absurdities rather than a 2-hour film. Yet, Jones continues to have my attention.
Do you think some guy's gonna file like a copyright claim and be like, he ripped off my book that no one read?
Who, Duncan Jones?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just salty. I'm salty.
I know you're salty. I think
salty
that,
like
God,
that. I'm salty like that asset.
You are the most subjective reviewer when it comes to Guillermo del Toro content. There is no amount of objectivity at all.
You want to... You know, it's like, oh, it has a 10% on the tomato meter. I remember when Boyhood came out, and like it was like it has 100%. I remember like that was like a big deal. You know, it was like, what? The perfect film? And now the tomato meter, it's like, oh, it has a 1%. It's like, oh, this you know, Get Out had a 100% for a while, and Lady Bird.
Yeah.
And Black Panther had a 100%. So
it just means that pretty much everybody liked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To some like degree. But I remember with Boyhood, which I actually watched a little bit of that movie last night. That was the first one where like I was like, whoa, 100%?
It's the perfect film.
I recently rewatched a film that I got from the Criterion Collection.
What was it? Oh, it was probably Godzilla.
No.
Oh.
But I think it might be the most groundbreaking horror film ever made.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard to argue.
I didn't know they had The Village on Criterion.
No, that would be Night of the Living Dead.
Oh.
1968. I rewatched it, and dude, just such a classic movie. It's kind of uncanny how well that movie holds up. Because you'd think that like, oh, it's just some corny horror movie. It's really not. Like, it's really like dreadful, and like it's legitimately creepy, and like it's just a fucking classic movie. You should watch Night of the Living Dead.
I love Night of the Living Dead. I love it. I've seen it. Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah. It's one where it's Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and they're it's directed by Edgar Wright, right? And they live among zombies, and
I mean, you wouldn't have that movie if Night of the Living Dead was never made. That's what's so like groundbreaking about this. You wouldn't have The Walking Dead, which is like, you know, it's like a mouth breather show. Just watch The Walking Dead on AMC.
Fuck The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's crap. I watched like the first season, and I was like, this sucks. Like, I've seen better zombie stuff.
First episode's solid, but it's a direct adaptation of the first issue, which is pretty good.
Yeah, and didn't Frank Darabont get kind of screwed out of The Walking Dead? He was supposed to be like the showrunner, and then like he was just there for that first season or something.
I don't know. I don't know that much about it. I don't know that much about anything, really.
Yeah, you really don't.
Yeah, I just kind of fuck around and just do it. You know.
But Night of the Living Dead, that's a movie that I urge everyone to watch at least once. 10 out of 10, classic. One of the best independent films ever. That's another thing that's great about it. It's an independent movie.
Is that Romero?
Yeah, it's just made by some dudes and gals in Pittsburgh. It was called Night of the Flesh Eaters.
Really?
Yeah, but then they had to change it, and they were going to call it Night of Anubis. Then they
That's a terrible title.
Yeah, it is. And then Night of the Living Dead. James Earl from Cinemassacre, I think he states it the best, is that Night of the Living Dead is what branched classic horror and modern horror. Night of the Living Dead, it was that one. It showed zombies eating flesh. But it's just like cool because like, dude, you don't like. How often do you get movies that just completely change a genre
I mean,
and influences like the genre for the next fucking 50 years? You don't. You don't get it that often. You get it with like Star Wars. Like Star Wars.
Black Panther.
Yeah, Black Panther.
We got into a bit of an argument.
I'd say maybe The Dark Knight was groundbreaking for its genre.
Yeah, it's groundbreaking in that everybody compares it to other things now. And
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I'd say The Dark Knight kind of. And I mean like genre, not like comedies and dramas and like romance movies, but like horror, sci-fi, fantasy. It's just really cool that like a little movie could have such like a huge like impact. It's like an accidental masterpiece.
Here's a question for you. And this is I'm not going to take a stance on it. Is The Dark Knight itself worth all of the shit that it ended up causing in like superhero movies and like, because I feel like The Dark Knight is a great movie,
Just like,
but branched off of it
at this point,
it's schlock. It's shit.
I just wish it didn't exist anymore.
I mean, it's a fair question.
Are you talking about for DC movies?
DC movie, not really. I mean, like,
because Marvel hasn't attempted to do their version of The Dark Knight.
No, but the dark and graininess of movies, like of not just comic book movies either.
I think Power Rangers is the one that I first go to where they got it completely wrong.
The Amazing Spider-Man, I would say, is somewhat guilty of it.
I'd have to rewatch it, but I do kind of remember that movie being a little bit more shadowy.
Yes, it's gritty.
And has a lot of nighttime Spider-Man sequences.
Mm-hmm.
What's another movie where it's like they got it wrong because they tried doing it dark and grounded? Dark and grounded. I think that's the best way. Power Rangers, I say, has to be the worst.
Definitely Power Rangers. I mean,
that movie
I
should
didn't
not
hate it.
No, I didn't either, but that movie, like, the tone of it, that should not have been a dark and grounded movie.
I agree. I would agree with that.
They needed to rip off Marvel, not DC. If they were smart, they would have ripped off Marvel. Why didn't they just rip off Marvel? What were they, high?
Probably, yes.
They're like, we have this silly kids show. It's about a group of heroes that team together to fight bad guys. Well, like those Avengers movies. Yeah, they're huge. They make billions of dollars. What about
like that Justice League movie?
Yeah. What about that Justice League movie that hasn't came out yet?
One that comes to mind, Man of Steel.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Just from like the trailer and not calling it Superman, kind of like how The Dark Knight wasn't called Batman Begins 2.
Yeah.
So the titles are very similar to where they use like a nickname to title the movie. The Shape of Water. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Fuck
you.
Fuck you and your Shape of Water.
Other movies that did the dark and grounded thing. Oh, Fant Four Stick. Yeah, how could we forget that? That movie that movie completely failed at being dark and grounded.
Yeah.
A movie about silly characters teaming together.
God.
Well, not silly characters. Characters that have somewhat silly powers, like stretching around.
Yeah, I would say The Amazing Spider-Man 2 also. But here's why.
I thought that movie was a bit more, like, light and colorful.
It is. Quite a bit. It's too much, though, because they were course correcting for making the first one so dark and gritty. That they were like, we have to go way up. And it's like, that didn't work.
They're like, have Electro make dubstep sounds.
Yeah. Because you know how that was? That wasn't in The Dark Knight.
You know what movie completely nailed that? And I'm pretty sure it came out before The Dark Knight, was Watchmen.
Did it nail it?
The visual look, yeah.
Dark and gritty?
Yeah, the visual, like, look of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not grounded at all.
No, but just like that Snyder dark look.
Yeah, you're so right. You know what movie really, really nails it?
What?
Sucker Punch.
Ew.
Sucker Punch. Remember when that came out and you were like, wow, I don't want to see that? Same.
I'm 12 and I don't want to see this.
I knew that there were women in it.
I think that's why. It was a very different time back then. If a movie came out starring women, people refused.
Yeah, it wasn't really
women,
about it, yeah.
Even feminists were just like, I only watch movies that star men.
Yeah, until Black Swan came out, Darren Aronofsky's Black Swan. That's really, women weren't really fans of watching movies with women in them.
But they saw this, like, bitch going insane, and they were like, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah. Natalie Portman seems like a cool person, though.
She, like, she's good in Annihilation, but you just don't, like, care about her character. I think I've brought this up on the podcast. Like, she doesn't even display her Oscar. It's just, like, kept away, like, somewhere.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. Like, damn bitch, you crazy.
Have you seen her raps for SNL?
Mm-mm.
They're insane. She does like a bit on SNL that's recurring now, I guess. It's recurring. She did one like 15 years ago, and she just did another one.
A rap bit?
Yeah. And she raps, and she goes absolutely fucking bananas.
Damn.
Actual line from the rap. Talk some shit about the motherfucking prequels, bitch. Yeah, she said that. Yeah, that's a real Natalie Portman quote that we can now have.
What's your favorite Natalie Portman film?
V for Vendetta.
That was a good one. I haven't seen it since it came out. Like
she's great in
DVD.
She's great in it.
Yeah, I remember that one was pretty. That was a pretty cool movie.
She's so hot. Just kidding. JK. I mean, she is, but you know. Oh, sorry. Let me abridge that. No strings attached.
Ooh. Is that with JT?
No, it's not.
Really? Are you sure that doesn't have Justin Timberlake in it?
I'm pretty sure that has a. Pretty sure that's.
Or is that Friends with Benefits with Mila Kunis?
Who? God damn
is
it!
Ashton
Those are both the same. It's Ashton Kutcher.
Is it him?
But who's Friends with Benefits?
That's JT and MK. I'm just gonna refer to stars as their initials now.
Oh, it is Justin Timberlake. Oh my god!
And Friends with Benefits.
Yeah, and Friends with
Benefits.
No
Strings Attached is AK.
Yes.
Right.
I like that.
Is it Ashton Kutcher?
It is Ashton Kutcher.
That's confirmed from Variety or the Hollywood Reporter. If it's not confirmed by one of those sources, I won't run with it.
God, I like that No Strings Attached and Friends with Benefits are like the exact same movie.
Yeah, it happens. Like studios probably like, oh, they're making that, we'll make one too. You know?
Yeah.
Like we have another Jungle Book movie coming out. Made by,
but those
Andy
are
Serkis.
Yeah, I don't think that was Andy Serkis going, ooh,
no,
I want to do that. I think he had like a passion to make one, and then he also found out they were also making one, so he was like, we're just gonna do it anyway.
It's probably gonna look completely like different visually from the Favreau one. So
yeah,
it could be cool.
Isn't this new one called Mowgli?
Is it?
I believe it is.
Did they change it? Just
yes,
I wouldn't be
they had to.
I wouldn't be surprised because that Jungle Book live action movie was a pretty huge hit. Did you like that movie?
Yeah, it's fine.
I liked it quite a bit actually.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool and
well, I like
really
you.
well done.
Oh, his movie is now called. Well, the working title of it is Mowgli: Tales from the Jungle Book.
So Jacob, is there anything else you want to talk about on this week's podcast? I got nothing except a lead up for next week's podcast, and that's it.
Go ahead and lead up to it then, you bitch.
Jacob,
what?
Next week is one of my favorite television events of the year.
Really?
And
is it Twin Peaks?
Yeah, it's coming back randomly.
Wow, that's crazy.
But no, we never had a chance to discuss the Oscars, so
well, we're going to the same Oscar party as well.
Yeah, I know.
We could do a live podcast with like a group of people there if you want.
Yeah, with Carol and Alex.
Yeah. I mean, we have the microphones for it now.
Yeah, I can bring my Yeti.
Yeah, I mean, I have the two dynamics. I have the other compression mic. Sorry, I just got a little...
I got kind of excited.
Got a little nerdy there.
Yeah, I think you got rock hard.
Yeah.
But, whoa! He's masturbating, everyone.
I am. I'm actually jerking my penis.
Alright, so I am deeming the next podcast the Oscar extravaganza, because we never got to discuss the nominees, and I'm kind of glad we didn't, because now we can just do one.
Yeah, we can just do one and take it out. Yeah.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my itinerary. I'm gonna go through each fucking category, except for
each one,
not like foreign shorts, documentaries, just ones that I can have a prediction for. And then we're gonna talk about the winners. So yeah, next week, Oscar fun.
Okay.
And it will be fun. Damn it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. We can do it. I'll make my predictions as well. You should send me your list blank, and I will put mine down, and we'll both compare our list.
My list blank.
Like best picture, Shape of Water. Obviously, that's what you're gonna guess.
I would
best screenplay, best original screenplay, Shape of Water. Best adapted screenplay, Shape of Water, based off of Let Me Hear You Whisper.
Best. It gets.
That was hilarious.
You know, that'd be interesting if that was they're like, you have to acknowledge this movie's adapted from this dusty old play that I found in my dad's coffin.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Okay,
I didn't realize that I actually knew who Paul Zindel was until I was like looking through. Will you stop that? Will you stop fidgeting?
I just need a fidget spinner.
Wow, I want to die now.
Really, do you?
I'm hungry, dude.
I'm sorry.
I'm hungry.
I'm sorry.
What do you mean you're sorry? Like I'm not
such a prick.
Like, I'm not relying on you to feed me.
You're such an ass.
I'm asking if you want to get food somewhere.
I was actually gonna go and get food with Alex.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow. I haven't seen her this entire weekend.
I thought she was going with you.
No.
And then like I saw her at work, and like I think I went up to Carol, and I was like, why is Alex here? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, well, who'd he go with? And she was like, I don't know, his family. She like got kind of like pissed a little bit.
At you?
Yeah.
Good. I did go with my family.
And I was like, why?
Because I love my family, Colin. I know that you don't love your family, okay? I know that you have no ties to this world.
No blood ties.
Yeah. I know that your only tie is Leo, okay? Yeah. And once Leo's gone, so are you. Okay, I get it, alright? You're going in the ancestral plane from Black Panther.
This is gonna be kind of a short pod unless you wanna.
Yeah, but last week's pod was like almost 3 hours.
Yeah, we don't want another mini-sode. All right, we'll end this on. Let me ask you a question for one more topic.
Okay. Am I gay? No, I'm not. I like penis.
Do you like that pitch?
I like vagina.
Do you like that pitch for the next comedy? Are they? Starring Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux.
And then the end of it is they're not.
It's about these two sisters who are debating if their brother and his like best friend are gay or not, because they keep making sexual innuendos.
The whole movie is told within their bedroom while they're talking about it.
Are they?
It's like Man from Earth.
That sounds The Man Who Fell to Earth.
No,
The Man from Earth.
The Man
is that
from
with
Earth.
David Bowie?
No.
Oh,
hold on. Let me make sure let me fact check that.
The Man from Earth, is that like the Jerome Bixby? Not Jerome Bixby, the Bixby guy, the guy who's like, I'm a caveman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it sounded familiar. He's like,
wait, what? This movie was made in 2007? Jesus.
The Man from Earth.
Yeah, that's way more recent.
Who's it written by? Bixby?
Let me see.
Jerome Bixby, I think. Famous sci-fi author.
Yep, Jeremy Bixby.
Yeah.
Jerome. It could be Jerome, I guess.
You like how I explain the plot when the class teacher's like, "Oh, by the way, students, I'm a fucking caveman."
That pretty much is what it's like. It's not.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
Is it good?
No,
it's not.
It's boring as fuck. And the entire time you're like, "Oh my god, I wonder if he is a caveman." And then like it turns out, "Oh, I'm your father."
What? One
guy who's older than me. And it's like, what? And that guy has a heart attack.
He has a heart attack?
Yeah.
You just
real shit. Yeah, he has like a moment and he's like, "Oh my god, that's my father." And then like he dies. He fucking dies.
That sounds amazing.
It kind of is.
Just gave him that shock that this caveman.
He's an ageless being.
Oh, by the way, class, I've been around since the dinosaurs.
It's like, it's really funny. I don't know if the movie, I don't know if he was like, yeah, there was like this glowing rock and I snuggled up to it for warmth and I ended up living forever off of it.
I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the Disney dinosaur movie that I showed.
Oh god!
I showed Jacob the scene where the meteor crashes, and it all came back to me.
Really?
But yeah, that scene freaked me the fuck out when I was a kid. Not like horribly, but dude, that scene's horrific.
It is for a child to see.
Yeah, it is. It's an intense scene. They're just hanging out.
That's what did it, Collin.
They're just hanging out, and like the music starts off all whimsical, and they're just like, "What is that?" They're like, "Wow,
it's
beautiful.
It's fucking Armageddon." That's what it is.
Yeah, it's Cataclysm.
Yeah, that's amazing. The CGI is so fucked in that movie. It looks so bad now.
Yeah, it looks bad now, but back then it was like state of the art, and I think they actually used a lot of live action for like scenes in that movie, like rewatching it, and like that's probably why, like if they're showing like these trees and like in the background, it's like, oh, it's because it's literal like footage. I've seen footage.
I've seen foot. I stay annoyed. I stay annoyed. All right, guys, we're probably gonna head out now. Collin, where can we find you? Where can we find your fine ass?
Those thin, hairy butt cheeks make all the women go wild.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Up to My Knees and on YouTube at Up to My Knees. None of that is true. Do you know who that is?
No.
Up to My Knees.
Is that Collin? No. Is that Hunter?
Look it up. Look up Up to My Knees.
You little
I want to see a reaction. Then I want you to link it in the account.
I don't want to. Up to my knees. Up. No.
Up to my knees in shit.
Yeah, I get the joke. Alright. God. Up to.
God damn, how long does it take for you to...
How
long does it take for you to use a computer?
Knees.
Jesus Christ.
Is this Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Max Landis.
No.
Oh, that used to be.
Oh, wait, it might be. Yeah, I think this is Max Landis's account.
So yeah, you can find me on Max Landis's Twitter account. He tweets for me.
Yeah.
Jacob, where can we find you?
On Instagram at Jacob's Wetsuit. On Twitter at Jacob's Wetsuit. You can, if you want a question answered or anything on the show, or if you just want to like fucking send us something for no reason, you can feel free to do that thing right there. You can just fucking, email the show. Email the show at FPP Creative. That's fppcreative@gmail.com. We'll answer your question, unless you're like, hey, say the N-word on air. Then we won't do that. Why would we?
Spread the word, though, of this groundbreaking Crispin Glover story, so we can expose him for the weirdo that he kind of is. And everyone will be like, we already knew this.
Yes.
They're like, this is why we don't work with him.
Yes. Let me look up and see if anything's on Crispin Glover.
Dude, did you hear about Brendan Fraser?
What? Like he was like assaulted and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gross. Like, a guy from the Hollywood Foreign Press, like, put his hand down his pants and started massaging his taint. And, like, Brendan Fraser, like, left and, like, went home and told his wife, and they got a divorce.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And everyone loves to make fun of Brendan Fraser.
Everybody likes Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, but they like to make fun of him. They're like, his movies are shit. And Brendan's just like, I've had like 8 back surgeries from these movies.
Whoa.
What?
Lee Thompson had... Alright, so I guess like Crispin Glover invited her to his apartment or something once. And they went in, and his apartment is all black. Everything's black. And they painted a volcano together.
Oh.
I could not have thought you reply to that in the greatest way I've ever.
Well,
that's sweet.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. Calling Crispin Glover an odd duck, but a genius, she says. He was like, what? We're so much better because we're now richer and play tennis? It's a thing he said, I guess. We're now richer and we play tennis? And that wasn't really the point. The point was that we were a fully functioning family, but he had trouble creating that. I don't know what this is about.
Yeah, I'm kind of
skipping around.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared now.
Yeah, this is weird. Crispin Glover. Strange guy. Oh, wow. Josh Duhamel wearing a backwards hat?
With Crispin Glover on it?
No.
Can we get shirts that have Crispin on them?
Yes.
You bump into him in public. He's like, you're wearing a shirt with me on it. And he's like, oh, I sued because of my likeliness, not because it was me. And you're like, yeah, Crispin, you can't sue me.
And you're like, I didn't make any money off of it. I'm just promoting you.
You dick.
Yeah, you asshole.
Alright.
And then I turn around and go, get your Crispin Glover shirts. Crispin Glover shirts here. Got them for sale. Wholesale. A bunch of them. Come and get them. Haha.
I believe in the UK they call potato chips crisps over there. So
oh, really?
I believe so.
They don't call them chips, that's for sure. They call them fries chips.
Yeah, they call them crisps.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They do call fries chips over there. So, get your Crispin Glover crisps.
Oh, wow. Oh, this show is such a dead end.
Yeah. All right.
Later, guys.
See ya.